to Nikki and Mode. My name is Nikki Makatini and I'm extremely excited to introduce you to a space that is a flirty fusion of Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisine, aesthetics, aromas, and. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ba-Pita restaurant, Melville. There's so many things I can say about this space, but why bother when I can show you?
My name is Toerie from Merwe. I co-own Ba-Pita restaurant in Melville with Gerald Elliot.
So how would you best describe this restaurant to us?
So Ba-Pita is a Middle Eastern restaurant.
Yes.
With differences. So everything is made from scratch. Our decor is very important in the restaurant.
Yes.
It's a fun place to be at. It's not necessarily just about the good food and the service, it's also about the atmosphere.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you pick it up. I mean, already the first introduction to the space is that Mediterranean, Middle East feel. And I do understand you worked with Elizabeth with the project. What was the brief that you gave her when you got started?
I've known Elizabeth for a few years and she's a great person to work with.
Yes.
She understood where we were coming from.
Right.
In the beginning we said to her we want something that's different to any other Middle Eastern restaurant.
Right.
You'll find that in Johannesburg and mostly in South Africa, most Middle Eastern restaurants, the food might be good, but the interior is not always the greatest.
Sure,
Elizabeth had the same vision. We explained to her a few of our ideas.
Yes.
And she came and looked at the site from day one, and we just worked together. And basically, I would say we were on the same planet.
Great. So yeah, that always helps. But I understand with the conversation that I had with Gerald yesterday, he did mention that you sort of gave her creative license. I mean, with that comes a lot of trust. So were you at all a part of sort of the nitty-gritties, or did you trust her enough to say, you know what, run with it?
I would say in terms of percentages, I would say 80% was hers,
Right.
and 20% was mine.
Sure.
But definitely, yes, I did trust her because I've known her for a long time. I trusted her to do a good job.
Yes.
And then every now and then she'll come and ask, what about this?
Brilliant.
And I'll maybe nudge it this way or that way. But in general, yes, 100% I did trust her. But it's also not just me. It could be anyone else.
Sure.
People had ideas, came and spoke to us. We would always listen to other ideas too.
Sure. Now, I mean, like most places, there's always challenges in between getting the space together, getting the place, up and running.
Yes.
What were some of those challenges for you that you experienced?
I think with this space, the building being very old was one
Yes.
thing. I mean, when we started breaking down walls, we realized that some of those walls were brittle. We had to reinforce it. We had to add new I-beams to keep the roof structure on. I think that the whole of Melville area is a challenge as well.
Absolutely.
This area, it's a great suburb to be in, but it has its challenges in terms of crime, etc.
Yes.
But with the building of the setting up in the building, it was actually not too difficult for us. We were lucky to that in that respect, except the age of the building.
Yes. And just as yourself, I know this isn't the first restaurant that you have under your sleeve and that you've worked with and owned. What is this bug with the restaurant owners that it's just, I don't know, what is it about the restaurant? Because it's not always as profitable always, and it's not always the most successful thing you can be a part of. What is it for you?
I'll give you a bit of background. I've been doing this now since I was 17 and I'm 49, so it's a very, very long time.
Yes.
And in the beginning I looked at the restaurant business and I thought, this is great. You can sit on your chair and flirt with customers, and it's not a hard job. And over the years I realized it's a very, very tough job. It's a big commitment. You have to commit yourself 100% to it. Where you are right in terms of the business working or not, it's an absolute flick of the coin. It can land this way or that way.
Sure.
There's a combination of things that makes it work. You have to have great food, great service, great atmosphere, and then there's that little bit of magic which I can't really pinpoint.
Brilliant.
And it just sometimes works. I have had restaurants in Stellenbosch and I've actually lost some restaurants. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a gamble.
Sure.
But once it's in your blood and once you get going, it's you know, you become an addict. I guess it's an addiction. The rush is there. I personally love cooking, love design, love systems. So that's where I get my thrill from. So at the moment, it's something that I know I will be with for the rest of my life.
It's just in terms of this specific restaurant, what was it about it in terms of just getting to know about this place that made you think, I want to be a part of that project in the middle of Melville?
Yeah, Gerald and I met, we worked together actually almost 20 years ago.
Yes.
And briefly at the Spur, just for a year. And then we went separate ways. I went to Stellenbosch, he was in Joburg. And then we bumped into each other 2 years ago. We had this crazy idea to open a fish and chip shop.
Right.
We thought, let's do a fish and chip shop in Melville. There's a need for it, etc. But then with time we saw this building and the renovations happening here, and we decided let's reopen Ba-Pita rather.
Brilliant.
I didn't know anything about Middle Eastern cuisine, but being a restaurateur, I'm not blocking myself off to anything new, and if anything I actually like the challenge. So we decided, no, let's do this business. It was a combination of basically a bit of guts, a bit of craziness, and endurance. And then we came to the point where we said, no, this is what we want to do. On a personal note, I'm very happy with it because it's working. It's just great to.
I mean, it's unique. Yeah, that's one thing.
I know it's unique, and it's great flavors, things that I've learned a lot over the last year or so. So it's actually it's been a great journey.
I got a chance to dig into some of the menu items, and wow, it's got this heartiness. You taste all the flavors. Everything is pretty much very little processing, if any. You know, I sat through an interview yesterday with Gerald, and I watched the ingredients arrive. You know, so some of the vegetables delivered, and I thought, okay, we're onto something here. How important is it for you to do as little processing? And I know you do a lot of things. I mean, your storeroom is like non-existent. So you do a lot of things on site. How important is that for you?
I think in today's world with restaurants, it's almost like you don't have a choice. You have to do everything from scratch. You cannot do processed foods anymore. If possible, do it yourself. That's my motto. Because of the quality, you're actually going to save money. You're going to have more people feed through the door, which is important. You can have less wastage. For example, you can buy cheap chicken that has brine in. Once you've cooked it, you lose 30%. If you buy fresh chicken of good quality, you don't lose any of the weight. So actually, that old motto about rather spend a bit more applies in the restaurant business. With us here, we say our storeroom is small, 100%, our kitchen is small. When we designed the restaurant, we realized that we are running out of space, but it was an advantage. In the back of my head, I knew this means there won't be big walk-in freezers and fridges. Everything will have to be delivered daily and then prepared daily, and at the end of the night it will be probably sold out, and the next morning we start again from scratch.
Brilliant. The customer as well, it's quite interesting to know that your food is prepared on the spot per order, which is fantastic. Now another question that I wanted to just run by you as well is in terms of creating your menu. I know you mentioned that it was something completely foreign to you. I mean, the Middle Eastern sort of cuisine stuff. What goes into putting your menu together?
I do a lot of research, not only on the internet. I do speak to people from the Middle East. I had group meetings with Israelis, Lebanese, Turkish people, find out what they like, what works for them. It's also tests. There was trial and error. We went through a process, maybe a month of practicing and getting the right items. But it doesn't stop there. You actually have to continue with it. So on a daily basis, we taste every single sauce. We taste the breads. We make sure that it's up to scratch. And then we change the menu every couple of months, add new items. Same rule applies. It's a continuous thing. You must never stop.
I'm putting you on the spot. Your favorite menu item?
Laffa bread, which is similar to a wrap. It's a flat bread, lightly toasted, has its beautiful fillings in. The reason why I like it so much is because of the crunchy factor. It's fresh and crunchy vegetables, combination of that. Combined with the quality of meat. For example, the lamb laffa I really enjoy. It's slow cooked for 3.5 hours and then toasted. That's my favorite dish, or the one.
So I know there's a bit of a story behind the pizza oven, because it's not just your normal old Toerie, there we go. I mean, I noticed there's a bit of some art going on there as well. Can you just give us a brief idea as to who was involved with that and in the process?
So the pizza oven consists of two parts. The one person, or the one part, is a pizza oven builder. He built this oven for us. It was done off-site in Boksburg of all places. And then it was transported to the venue, and from there we installed it. And the second part is a guy, he's a mosaic artist.
Yes.
I saw some of his artwork actually at another restaurant, spoke to the owner, got his number, and then asked him to design a Middle Eastern pattern around the pizza oven.
Right. So from an aesthetic perspective, it's very captivating. What is your other item that is part of the restaurant that you look at every day and you go, wow?
Two parts of that is definitely the wallpapers. We have beautiful wallpapers which we downloaded. The one blue wallpaper is from an actual place in Morocco. Photographed, we enlarged it. And I think the other one is definitely the Moroccan and Turkish lights that we have hanging off the ceiling.
Beautiful.
And we actually have a lot of people that take photographs of it as they walk through the door. So the lights and the wallpapers are the two features that are really striking. Creates a happy space. And I've been here now for just over a year, and I can still look at it every day and think, well, this is exciting and happy.
Very authentic, I must say. Now, before I let you go, yesterday I kind of snuck in a question with Gerald, just to kind of just get into the beauty side of you two working together. There's always, dynamics with working as a pair. And I asked him what were some of the qualities that he would highlight that you sort of have that you've contributed to the space in terms of company. And he said, you know what, you compliment him so well, and he says that you're the one that sort of polishes all the ideas up and you create something amazing with it. What would you say about him? What's it like working with Gerald?
It's terrible. I must tell you, it's the worst decision I've ever made. No, we get along very well.
Yes.
We actually, the old thing about opposites attract.
Yes.
100% we are exactly the opposite.
Right.
Maybe I'm the polished version and maybe he's the rough diamond.
Yes.
Gerald's very, very good with bringing people through the door. That's his strongest attribute. He's a people's person through and through. I myself, I like to sort of stay in the background.
As we interview him?
Yes, as you interview me. But
I have to corner him.
But I've known you for 5 minutes, so that helps. But if I have to meet you now, I'll be a little bit shy. So it takes me a while to warm up, but that's his strongest point.
Absolutely.
We actually complement each other 100%. We're very, very blessed that our partnership is working.
Brilliant.
I mean, we know that partnerships can sometimes be challenging.
100%.
But honestly, can't say there's anything negative about Gerald.
Some advice that you would have for any prospective new restaurant owners, people that are thinking of getting into partnership, what would you say?
So I'll look at the camera when I say this,
Please
if I may. Do not open your own restaurant. That's the best advice I can give you. It's a very, very tough industry. Jokes aside, if you really want to do it, persevere, work through it, never give up, believe in yourself, and you'll be able to get there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for availing yourself.
Pleasure.
Lovely meeting you.
Lovely meeting you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to read up more about this blog post in the link below. And that's all for me today. Goodbye.